The soft blue light of Earth Colony Station 7 pulsed through the viewport as Tay adjusted his neural headset. His small apartment sat at the edge of the arts district, barely large enough for his recording equipment. Outside, the artificial day cycle was ending, casting long shadows across the station's curved interior. Tay had arrived 2 years ago from Earth with nothing but talent and determination. Now, he performed under the name Starflow at local clubs where humans and aliens gathered to exchange culture and music. "You ready for tonight?" asked Jaiwoo through the holographic display. His oldest friend had become his manager, believing in Tay's music when few others did. "One more practice," Tay replied, scrolling through the lyrics on his tablet. His newest song combined traditional Earth hip-hop rhythms with melodic patterns that appealed to alien hearing structures. Later that night, Club Nebula was packed with beings from 12 different worlds. Humans mingled with tall, slender Proxima natives and the stocky representatives from Tau Ceti. The club owner, a human named Doyen, had built his business on interspecies cultural exchange. "You've got 15 minutes, Doyen told Tay backstage. "Make it count." When Tay stepped onto the stage, the crowd quieted. His music was still new, experimental. He closed his eyes as the beat began, letting the rhythm guide him. His verses flowed smoothly, words painting pictures of Earth, of space travel, of human hopes and struggles. By the third verse, something unusual happened. The aliens in the crowd began moving to the music, their bodies finding harmony with the human rhythms. When he finished, the applause was thunderous. "That was different," said a tall Proxima native afterward. "Your vibrations reach places inside that other music cannot touch." Videos of the performance spread across the galactic network. Within weeks, Tay received a message from Galax Tone, the largest music distribution company in the sector. "We'd like to meet," the message read simply. The Galax Tone offices occupied an entire level of the corporate tower at the station's center. Tay felt small as he entered the gleaming lobby with Jaiwoo beside him. They were greeted by Yoon, a sleek human executive with perfect posture and calculating eyes. "Starflow," she said, using his stage name. "Your work has caught our attention." The meeting room overlooked the entire station. Through the windows, Tay could see ships arriving and departing, pinpoints of light against the blackness of space. "Your music does something special," Yoon explained, sliding a contract across the table. "You found frequencies that connect with multiple species simultaneously. That's rare." The contract offered distribution to 87 worlds, more than Tay had dared to dream. Jaiwoo examined the terms carefully. "This gives them a lot of control," he whispered to Tay. "It's standard," Yoon replied with a practiced smile. "We have the networks, the technology to make you a galactic sensation." That night, in his small apartment, Tay stared at the unsigned contract. Was this his big chance or a mistake? His communicator blinked with a message from Hannah, his sister back on Earth. "Whatever you decide, stay true to your music," she wrote. "It's your voice that makes you special." 3 days later, Tay signed the contract. The changes happened quickly. Galax Tone moved him to better living quarters, gave him access to advanced recording technology. They paired him with Sunho, a brilliant audio engineer who helped refine his sound while keeping its essential humanity. Human Vibrations, his first single under Galax Tone, released simultaneously across the galaxy. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Alien species normally indifferent to human culture embraced the music. "You've tapped into something universal," Sunho told him during a late-night session. "Your rhythms match brainwave patterns across species. It's like you're speaking directly to their emotions." 6 months later, Tay stood on a stage on New Europa, a human colony world orbiting a distant star. 10,000 beings cheered as he performed, their different anatomies moving in surprising harmony to his beats. That night, Human Vibrations became the first human musical creation to reach the top position on the galactic charts, outperforming works by species that had been making music for thousands of years longer than humanity. "This is just the beginning," Yoon told him at the celebration party, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. "We have big plans for humanity's new voice." Tay didn't notice how she emphasized the word humanities or the quick glance she exchanged with Q, a reptilian executive who watched from the corner with unblinking eyes. The lights of Tay's new apartment flashed on as he entered, responding automatically to his presence. After 6 months with Galactone, his living space had grown from a small studio to a luxury 3-room suite in the exclusive upper ring of Colony Station 7. "Incoming call from Jaiwo," announced the home system. Tay sighed and dropped onto his couch. "Accept." Jaiwo's concerned face appeared on the wall screen. "Have you seen the numbers for your new album?" "Not yet," Tay admitted. He had been avoiding the reports. "They're bad, Tay. Much worse than expected." "It doesn't make sense, your concerts are sold out across 3 star systems." The second album, Stellar Rhythms, had felt right during recording. Sunho, his engineer, had worked with him for weeks perfecting each track. Yet something had felt off about the final release. "I'll look into it," Tay promised, ending the call. Later that week, Tay sat in a meeting room at Galactone headquarters. Un entered with 2 executives, a human named Jean and the reptilian Q. "We need to discuss your tour schedule," Un said without greeting. "We're canceling your appearances on Epsilon Hub and New Europa." Tay straightened in his chair. "Those are key human colonies. My biggest fan bases." "The pre-sales weren't strong enough," Jean explained, though he wouldn't meet Tay's eyes. "That's not possible. Jaiwa showed me the numbers before they suddenly dropped." Q made a dismissive gesture with his scaled hand. "Markets fluctuate. We're routing you through the Rigel sector instead." "The Rigel sector?" "Their species can barely hear in my vocal range." "You should be grateful for the exposure," Un said coldly. "Many artists would love this opportunity." After the meeting, Tay found himself alone in the elevator with Q. The reptilian shifted uncomfortably before speaking in a lowered voice. "Your kind's music is problematic for certain board members," he said. "Too emotionally resonant with multiple species." Before Tay could ask what he meant, the doors opened and Q hurried away. That evening, Tay met Hannah at a small cafe in the lower levels of the station. His sister had arrived from Earth 2 days earlier for a visit. "Something's wrong," he told her, keeping his voice down. "My music isn't connecting like it used to." Hannah pulled out a small device and placed it on the table. "Audio dampener," she explained. "No one can hear us now." "When did you get so paranoid?" "When my brother signed with a company that's suddenly sabotaging his career." She slid a tablet across the table. "Look at these." The screen showed waveform comparisons of his original recordings and the broadcast versions. Even to his untrained eye, the differences were clear. "They're altering your music during transmission," Hannah explained. "Changing key frequencies, dampening emotional resonance patterns. The question is why?" 2 days later, Tay stood in Sunho's private studio. The audio engineer looked nervous as he showed Tay more evidence of tampering. "I thought I was going crazy," Sunho said. "Every time I check the broadcast feeds, your music is different from what we recorded." "Can you trace who's doing it?" "It has to be high-level authorization. The changes happen at the quantum transmission stage." Tay paced the small room. "Q said something about my music being problematic. Too resonant with different species." Sunho's eyes widened. "That actually makes sense. Your particular vocal patterns and compositional style trigger emotional centers across multiple species' brains. It's rare, maybe even unique to you. Why would Galactone sign me just to suppress that ability?" Hannah, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. "Maybe Galactone isn't who we think they are." Over the next month, Hannah dug deeper into Galactone's ownership structure. Using her skills as a data analyst, she uncovered layers of shell companies and hidden investors. "Galactone is controlled by a group from the Rigel system," she revealed one night in Tay's apartment. "A species that has been losing cultural influence as humans expand into the galaxy." "They're afraid of us?" Tay asked, incredulous. "Not of our weapons or technology," Sunho said. "They fear our cultural impact. Our art. Our music. Especially yours. The final piece fell into place when a junior Galaxtone employee named Minjun contacted Tay secretly. He had been monitoring other human artists signed to the label. It's not just you, Minjun explained, showing files of altered transmissions from dozens of human musicians. They're systematically undermining human cultural exports throughout the galaxy. Tay stared at the evidence, anger building inside him. They wanted Earth's voice, but only so they could control it. That night, he tried to access his master recordings at the Galaxtone studios but found his security clearance revoked. When he called Un demanding answers, her response was cold. Your contract gives us complete control over your music, Starflow. Perhaps you should have read the fine print. As Tay ended the call, he noticed a message from Jaiwu, check your schedule. New performance, Rigel Prime, diplomatic event. Tay understood immediately. They wanted him to perform for the very beings who were suppressing his true voice. They think they've won, he told Hannah and Sunho. But they've never really understood what human music is capable of. In the quiet town of Millbrook, where secrets often lurked beneath the surface, Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood frozen in her laboratory. Her hands trembled as she examined the unusual rock sample discovered in the remote mountains of Peru. What had started as a routine geological expedition had transformed into something far more extraordinary. The rock wasn't just an ordinary stone. It pulsed with a strange inner light, casting a soft blue-green glow that seemed to breathe with its own rhythm. Elena had never seen anything like it in her 20 years of scientific research. The specimen came from a hidden cave system high in the Andes, a location so remote that few humans had ever set foot there. Initial tests revealed something impossible. The rock contained microscopic structures that looked almost engineered. Not natural. Not random. Each tiny formation seemed precisely placed, like intricate circuitry smaller than human hair. Her colleague, Professor Marcus Thompson, thought she was hallucinating when she first showed him the images. This can't be geological, Elena whispered to herself, adjusting the microscope. The structures seemed to have a complex pattern, reminiscent of advanced technological blueprints. They were too perfect, too symmetrical to be a natural formation. Days turned into weeks of rigorous investigation. Elena barely slept, consuming endless cups of coffee and running multiple scientific tests. Her team worked quietly, understanding the potential magnitude of their discovery. If what they suspected was true, this rock could change everything humanity understood about Earth's history. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. During a high-frequency radiation scan, the rock suddenly projected a holographic-like image, a three-dimensional map that looked like star systems, but wasn't quite astronomical. It was something else entirely. Something alien. Marcus could hardly believe his eyes. It's a map, he muttered, but not of any place on Earth. The research team became increasingly secretive. They knew governments and scientific institutions would be desperate to control their findings. Elena understood the delicate nature of such a discovery, something that could potentially rewrite human understanding of technology, evolution, and our place in the universe. Preliminary DNA analysis of microscopic organic traces within the rock structure suggested something even more startling. The cellular components didn't match any known terrestrial or biological classification. They were different. As news of the discovery began to leak, mysterious government representatives started making discreet inquiries. Black SUVs with tinted windows appeared near the research facility. Elena knew they were watching, waiting. One night, while working late, Elena discovered something that made her heart race. The rock's internal structures weren't just intricate, they were communicating. Tiny energy pulses moved through its crystalline framework in a pattern that suggested intelligence. Not random signals, but deliberate, organized transmission. What did it mean? Was this evidence of ancient extraterrestrial technology? A message from something or someone long forgotten? Or something entirely beyond human comprehension? The rock continued to pulse. Its soft blue-green light seemed to watch her, holding secrets older than human civilization. Elena realized she was standing at the precipice of a discovery that could change everything humanity thought it knew about its own history. As dawn broke, casting long shadows across her laboratory, Dr. Elena Rodriguez understood one thing clearly: this was just the beginning of an extraordinary journey. The rock was more than a scientific specimen. It was a key to unlocking mysteries that had remained hidden for thousands, perhaps millions of years. The discovery would soon escape the confines of her quiet laboratory. And when it did, nothing would ever be the same again. In the weeks following the rock's discovery, a small group of researchers formed an unexpected resistance against those who wanted to control their groundbreaking find. Jack Harper, a former military intelligence officer turned independent researcher, became their unexpected leader. The government wanted to suppress the information. Dark-suited agents visited the research facility, demanding complete confidentiality. But Elena and her team had already made copies of their research, spreading the evidence through secure digital networks. Jack had connections in high places. He understood how powerful organizations worked to hide uncomfortable truths. Using an encrypted communication system, he helped Elena and her colleagues protect their research. They knew that if the wrong people got their hands on the rock, its secrets would disappear forever. Late one night, Marcus received a coded message warning them about an imminent raid. The team quickly prepared. They divided the rock's research materials into multiple secure locations, creating a complex puzzle that would be impossible for any single group to reconstruct completely. Elena packed the most critical samples in a specially designed protective case. The rock continued to pulse with its mysterious blue-green light, almost as if it understood the danger. Its internal structures seemed to shift and change, creating complex patterns that no scientist could fully explain. The first attempt to seize the research came quickly. Black SUVs surrounded the research facility one cold morning. But the team was prepared. Jack had created a series of false trails and decoy locations. When government agents arrived, they found nothing but empty rooms and carefully planted false documents. Maria Rodriguez, Elena's sister and a skilled computer expert, worked behind the scenes. She created digital smokescreens, making it nearly impossible to track the real research. She scattered information across multiple servers, each piece looking innocent but part of a larger, hidden puzzle. The resistance wasn't just about protecting a scientific discovery. They believed the rock represented something much bigger: potential evidence of technologies far beyond human understanding. If the wrong people controlled this information, it could be used to manipulate or control humanity. Jack's network grew. Former military personnel, independent scientists, and technology experts joined their cause. They created a complex web of protection, moving information and samples through carefully planned routes. No single person knew the complete plan. Governments and powerful organizations began to take notice. The hunt for Elena and her team intensified. But they remained one step ahead, using a combination of advanced technology and old-fashioned human intelligence. The rock itself seemed to help. Its strange internal structure occasionally created electromagnetic interference, disrupting tracking systems and communication networks. It was almost as if the artifact was protecting itself and those trying to understand its secrets. Weeks turned into months. The resistance grew stronger. They published small pieces of research in obscure scientific journals, creating a trail of breadcrumbs that hinted at something much larger. Each piece was carefully crafted to both reveal and conceal. Elena understood the risks. If caught, they could face serious consequences. Imprisonment. Discreditation. Worse. But the potential of their discovery was too important to surrender. One critical moment came during a midnight meeting in an abandoned warehouse. Jack revealed a shocking piece of information: the rock's internal structure suggested it wasn't just a technological artifact. It was a message. A warning. Something had left this behind intentionally. The team realized they were no longer just protecting a scientific discovery. They were guardians of a secret that could change human understanding forever. The rock was more than a specimen. It was a key to understanding something far beyond current human knowledge. As winter turned to spring, the resistance continued. They moved carefully, protected by a network of supporters who believed in their mission. The rock remained their most important secret, a silent witness to a truth that humanity wasn't yet ready to understand. Their battle was just beginning. Powerful forces wanted to control the discovery, to lock away its potential. But Elena, Jack, and their team were determined to ensure the truth would eventually come to light. The resistance had become more than a scientific mission. It was a fight for human understanding, for the right to know the extraordinary secrets hidden within a single, mysterious rock. The world changed on a quiet Tuesday morning. What began as a small scientific discovery transformed into a global revolution that would reshape human understanding forever. Elena's research team had strategically released carefully selected information about the rock through multiple independent channels. Scientific journals, online platforms, and trusted media contacts received fragments of their discoveries. Each piece was designed to spark curiosity while protecting the most critical secrets. The first public reaction was confusion. Scientists around the world argued about the authenticity of the research. Some called it the greatest scientific breakthrough in human history. Others dismissed it as an elaborate hoax. But something was different this time. The evidence was too compelling to ignore. Jack Harper orchestrated the information release with military precision. He understood that controlling the narrative was as important as the discovery itself. Social media exploded with discussions, theories, and wild speculations about the mysterious rock and its potential origins. Universities began conducting independent research. The rock's unique properties challenged everything known about geology, biology, and technological development. Its internal structure suggested technologies that were centuries, perhaps millennia, beyond current human capabilities. Governments tried to suppress the information, but it was too late. The digital age had made complete secrecy impossible. Independent researchers, citizen scientists, and technology experts around the world began collaborating, piecing together the puzzle. The rock's most shocking revelation came when a team of quantum physicists discovered its ability to generate energy in ways that defied current scientific understanding. It could produce clean, unlimited energy from seemingly nothing, a breakthrough that could solve global energy crises. Elena watched as the world transformed around her. What had started in a small laboratory now threatened to revolutionize human technology, understanding, and potential. The rock was more than a scientific specimen, it was a key to humanity's future. Powerful corporations and government agencies fought to control the information. But the resistance had prepared for this. Their network was global, decentralized, and virtually impossible to completely shut down. Every attempt to suppress the information only made more people curious. Young scientists became the most passionate advocates. They saw the rock as a symbol of hope, proof that humanity could transcend its current limitations. Universities around the world opened research centers dedicated to understanding its mysteries. The technological implications were staggering. The rock's internal structures suggested advanced energy generation, communication technologies far beyond current capabilities, and potential insights into fundamental aspects of physics and biology. Jack's network continued to protect the most critical research. They understood that the wrong people controlling this technology could be dangerous. It wasn't just about scientific discovery, it was about protecting humanity's potential future. Global tensions increased. Some nations saw the rock as a potential weapon, a source of unprecedented technological advantage. Others viewed it as a chance for global cooperation and advancement. The world stood at a critical turning point. Elena remained cautious but hopeful. She knew the rock was more than just a scientific specimen. It was a message, perhaps from an advanced civilization, or something even more extraordinary. Its very existence challenged human understanding of technology, evolution, and our place in the universe. The revolution spread quickly. Ordinary people began demanding transparency. They wanted to know the truth about the rock and its potential. Protests erupted in major cities, with citizens calling for open scientific research and global collaboration. Educational systems began to change. Schools started introducing new curriculum that explored the potential implications of the rock's discovery. Young people became the most passionate advocates for understanding its secrets. As the year progressed, the world transformed. The rock had become more than a scientific discovery, it was a catalyst for global change. Humanity stood on the brink of a new understanding, with potential technologies that could solve many of its most critical challenges. Elena looked out her laboratory window, watching the sunset. The rock pulsed softly beside her, its blue-green light a constant reminder of how much remained unknown. This was just the beginning of a journey that would change everything. The revolution had begun. And nothing would ever be the same again.